Good morning, traders. So, still working with the Bill Williams theory, and we're looking at the Aussie South African top 40. Now, first thing you'll notice that this daily chart looks very different to what we've been using over the past 3 months, and that's because we've had a rollover. Okay, so in other words, what happens is the previous quarter's chart gets closed down and they open a new chart. So this chart's the March 19th chart when it closes on March the 19th. The first thing you notice that the previous chart had sort of solid green bars here. We had gap downs and then we'd run, gap down and we'd run. And whereas this one, it's reflected as pin bars. So, yeah, I think the levels off this chart will still be the same, but this is where I often talk about I ignore price completely. And this is one of the reasons why. Because yesterday we were hovering around the 45 area. And if you look at us at the moment, we are sitting at 45,500, I think it is. Let's get a level on there. 45,700. Okay, so that's the main reason, one of the main reasons why I started just looking at the support and resistance levels for my levels rather than worrying about price. Okay, so a couple of things. So the first thing is this swing low here is an inside tail. You can see we have broken it a couple of times, 3 to 4 times in actual fact. And what we see here is what I refer to as a story of threes. In other words, there's 3 tails indicating buyers are stepping in and we're moving to the upside. The gap here was closed. So that gap was closed. Okay. And I don't think you'll see any other gaps here. Not really. Nothing there. There is one quite far down here. Okay, so let's just put that level in here because it lines up quite nicely with these inside tails here. Okay, that's also an inside tail. And lines up with those inside tails. Okay, perfect. So those are 3 levels that we have. Quite a strong level of support. If we just come down to the weekly, you'll see we have a bit of a pin bar forming on the weekly. We did have this divergence here as well between this low and this low, but for me the trend is still down. Okay, it doesn't matter what time frame you look at, trend is still very much the downside. The only difference is that we are finding support inside this congestion area here. Okay, so this middle line where we bounced off, you can see how significant that is. You've got so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, then we try to break through it, and now we're busy with 9. So that's 9 tests at this level, and currently this level sits at 44,871. Okay, now looking at the monthly, you can see we have a grouping to the downside of the oscillator. Nothing on the awesome oscillator to show us what's going on, but this to me is indicating that we are tied, that you should expect some form of a bounce. Now the bounce to me is not really going to be that high because the trend is down, so I would take it off this inside tail. So I'd expect some kind of a visit to 4,700. Okay, so let's just get down to the lower time frames. So you can see on the 4-hour, we trended down, we've tested the alligator again, and now what we're looking for, what looks to be happening is we have inside bar, that's a double reversal pattern, so there's a good probability we're going to bounce here. Okay, one other thing, let's rather draw it from there. That was the break. Okay, of a channel of sorts. Not really a decent channel, but nevertheless it is a downward channel. We broke up, we come back, we've tested, we're coming up. Okay, so now what you're looking for is quite simply, let's use this bottom level here. You're looking for a break above this 4-hour fractional from the 4-hour perspective, and that is 46,240, 46,245, 46,245. Okay, so you're looking for a 4-hour close above that, and that should give you a move to the upside. And I think the move to the upside is really going to be somewhere around 4,700. I don't see it going further than that. Okay, it's an inside tail there. Okay, it's an inside tail here. It's an inside tail there. It's an inside tail here. And I can go back and you can see there'll be a couple other areas where that plays out. Okay, now the other thing that we want to look at is have a look at the Fibonacci here, because we're looking for anything to the 50 and 61.8. So you'll see that level is just above the 50, and then on the top here is our 61.8, which still is below the 200 moving average on the 4-hour. Okay, so let's just get down to the 1-hour, and it's probably going to be very messy. Let's just try and tidy this up. Right. Okay, so now you can see this channel more clearly. You can see the break, you can see the retest, and now what you can see as well is the alligator is flat. We are grouping here, but the concern I've got here, look at this oscillator. The oscillator is up in the area, indicating that the sellers are coming in. Okay, so in other words, it is overbought. Now, 10 cents at the moment is sort of fluctuating. I've seen it 4% up this morning. I've seen it's currently 3.5% up. I've seen it 2% up. So it is bouncing around like a yo-yo at the moment for some reason. So if it continues like that, you can pretty much expect a gap up for the Aussie. And if I look at the US markets were down. S&P was down 1.5%. The Dow was down 2%, and the Nasdaq was down 1.5 or 1.57, so almost 1.6% down. And the Rand was pretty much stable, 1438, I think. Let's double check. Yeah, 1438 currently, so not moving much, just hovering around. Okay, so what I do suspect is you do get a bounce up. Okay, there is a gap up here. So there's a gap. We can use this line here. So this gap is probably around 46,167. That is the gap. Also lines up a little bit with this inside tail here. Okay, so you could get a gap up. We could pretty much break this fractional level here and head up to either the 200. That would be a first resistance level. So that will be somewhere around 46,700. So obviously this is going to still move down a bit more. But for me right now is this trend is still very much down. And I think what you're going to find is people are going to be manipulating market because trading volumes are going to be very thin today. Well, pretty much for the rest of next week as well. So it's going to be pretty easy to move a market. I mean, for anybody with a little bit of capital behind them. Okay, so yes, I'm expecting as it stands now, probably a gap up. I'll be looking at 46,230. If that fails, I will be looking at the 200 EMA, 46,678. And if that fails, 4,700. So these are the areas that I'm looking to be short again. So I'm not really interested in the fact that it's looking like a turn. It could be at this stage. It is a higher low. But for me, we are still below the alligator. And until we get above this alligator and the alligator starts pointing up, this trend is down. Okay, so if you look, all time frames are pretty much the same at the moment. Okay, so that's kind of my view. Now, what could be happening here is a bit of a head and shoulders, but it's so weak at the moment. I don't think I'll worry about that. My big concern here is oscillators are grouped up in the sell zone. The trend is down at the moment, so your reversal, this pullback, is coming to an end. And then I think the worry is whether we break through 44. What is this? 44,871. We start breaking below this level here where this congestion is, then you can see a much bigger move to the downside playing out. Okay, so I just want to pop across to the ichimoku. Not sure if we'll have data. Looks like we do. Okay, so you can see now with the futures changeover, now all of a sudden we've had a bullish crossover. And that's why you've got these candles here. So you've got a bullish crossover. Nothing else is bullish, but we've had a bullish crossover, which is indicating some kind of a rally. And if you look at where Kijinsen is, there's Kijinsen. And that is around 46,700. Okay, so remember the one level I gave you was 46,700, which was a 200 EMA on the hour. Okay, 4 hour. Okay, 4 hour, we don't really have anything, but what we do have is the underside of the cloud. Okay, so we've got the underside of the cloud at 46,700. Okay, so the trend is down, it's broken through. We haven't really tested the cloud. We did kind of a half-hearted test there. This is looking like a double bottom, and here on the hour we are in the cloud, so we may get a breakthrough of the cloud on the hour, but still this level up here of 46,700 is the key level for me at the moment. Okay, so let's go back to where we were, and you'll see what I mean, how it all ties together. 46,670, pretty close. So that's the area I think I'll be watching. Basically this previous swing high here, or these inside tails, but somewhere around this level is what I'm looking for. So I suspect a bit of a gap up, come up to this area, at which point I will definitely have a short in. Okay, so that's me for today. Expecting a bit more of a bounce, and then looking for, okay, it's going for half hour quickly just to double check things. Yeah, a bit of a bounce up to this morning. Close this gap, this opening gap from yesterday, and there isn't another gap, no. And then pretty much start looking to the left, draw your levels in, so you can see there is another level there. Okay, and then normally what you're looking for is the middle one. So those are my three levels, and 6 times out of 10 it gets through the first one, get to the second one, and then you have your sell-off. Okay, your stop, you can have a tight stop, but because of the volatility, well, it's not that tight. That's 200 points. So I'd probably still look at a 300-point stop loss on any trades on the Aussie today. Okay, one other thing to bear in mind is you'll find that the Aussie will squirt around this morning, and I'm pretty sure the JSE will close at 12 today. I'm not 100% sure, but more than likely it normally does close before the Christmas period. So maybe it might be today, or it might only be Tuesday, on Monday, I'm not sure. What is... Yeah, so I think maybe just have a look on the JSE website to see what their trading hours are today. But normally they close at 12 o'clock, so you'll find a flurry of activity up until 12 before they close. Okay, anyway, guys, that's me for today. Probably not going to trade it, to be honest, because the rally it'll probably be a massive gap up and then just go sideways and then start meandering down slightly. So I'll probably look more for the Dow or the Dax at the moment. Anyway, guys, that's me for today. I hope it helps, and I will catch you later. Cheers for now.